8 p.m. Central African time. Hello, Sunny Bonani. Good evening. Welcome to the Circuit of the Americas. Welcome to the third race of the season. As Vix Jr. says, Seaclay is back. Absolutely. Back to stake their claim on another possible championship. It's been a fantastic return to form, return to the top tier for Seaclay back in the BrakeAway Racing League stable. But of course, BrakeAway being BrakeAway, he's got a whole lot of contenders to contend with, and a whole lot of action to look forward to. Last time out, we had a beautifully dramatic race in Qatar. It seemed that Smirch Django had come across the line to win there, but courtesy of penalties, Don Rabico had that eventual 5-second time penalty removed and ended up as the race winner there. So congratulations to Don Rabico for another race win in his BrakeAway Racing League career. Seaclay has won one race. Don Rabico has now won a race as well. Can Django add on to that tally? Well, those three are your drivers in the top three positions. It is Django, Don Rabico, and Seaclay. We then have definitely Duke, who has 15 points. Sadly, could not take part last time out in Qatar because of energy reliability issues, so that was sad to see. Loveness was on the podium last time out, courtesy of a technical issue which cost Seaclay a memorable race win and possible podium. So Seaclay was really unfortunate to miss out on a fantastic result there. Yeah, Seaclay is still, however, on 31 total championship points. Loveness is on 15, is currently 5th in the standings. Donathan Laka is currently 6th on 14 points. Thiago Maestro, what a result that was in Qatar. What a drive. 12 points for Thiago. Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Cayman. And Debo Alligator has currently got 10 points. Grimjaw also has 10 points. The Nucho has 8 points. Zotal has 6 points. Simps is currently 12th in the standings on 4 points. Romeo Mandela Massingo is 13th on just 2 points. Tapiso also has 2 championship points. Sage Figure of Speech has 1 point, as does Ban Kobe. So, Fence, the 86er, Billy Hendricks, and Seppo Temba are the quartet who have yet to score championship points. Now, it is a later start to this race, and that does not mean that we do not get an action-packed qualifying session. It is a short quali session, so all these drivers have just 18 minutes in total to stake their claim on that possible pole position. Duke is out on track, as we have been watching them. What a start they've had to their top tier career in the BrakeAway Racing League. But, however, it is not Duke but Thiago Maestro who will take us on our first tour around the Circuit of the Americas. Here comes Thiago into turn 1. Oh, that's a slow-moving car, better make way so as to not compromise turn 1 for Thiago Maestro. Now into turn 2, which is a flat-out right-hander. Here come the S sections, which are oh so crucial to make sure that you do not run afoul of the track limits, and of course make sure that your line is as crisp, as clean as possible. 26-second split on the end of the first sector is good going for Thiago Maestro. Who knows whether or not he does have a little more pace to go yet, as he comes now into this left-hander, that being turn 11, to go down the hill all the way down to the braking zone, turn 12, which will represent a major overtaking opportunity in the race proper. But for now, we're watching how Sector 2 for Thiago Maestro will conclude, and that should be in very, very quick measure. He takes turn 12. Does Thiago? Oh! The slow-moving Aston Martin behind had to just watch it, as his Sector 2 split is in the 1 minute and 4 seconds mark. So Thiago Maestro hopefully not too distracted by the drama taking place behind them. One of the Aston Martins is, of course, Tsepo Temba. It could have been Simpiwe Zondi, Simps F1, but time will tell. Tiago will be the first to give us a representative lap. We do know, of course, that Duke is following very, very closely behind, still to complete Sector 3. But here comes Tiago towards the line on the exit of the final corner, turn 20, and it's a 135.763 for Tiago. We saw times which were quicker in Tier 2, so yet some work to do for Tiago. Duke goes quicker, 133.306 is the benchmark, the new benchmark set by definitely Duke. It seems Ban Kobe has just crossed the line to begin their first push lap as things currently stand. We're going to watch and see because Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Cayman, and Debo Alligator has just crossed the line for 134.675, meaning it is P2 for the Alpine driver. Partner, of course, to the 86er, who has yet to collect any points this season, and with just over 13.5 minutes to go, a lot of action yet still to be experienced. Zotal is still in the pits. It seems there's a McLaren on the verge of finishing their first push lap. That is the would-be four-time champion, Seakley. And as I say that, he crosses the line for the quickest time by some margin, a 32.443 in this single session qualifying session. Seakley lays down their answer to the fast runners, and Donathan Laka has also crossed the line for a 34.075, putting them third quickest as things currently stand. There's a slow-moving Aston Martin, it seems, which is bringing out the yellow flags in Sector 3. So we'll jump on over to perhaps a faster moving one. Oh, no, that is Simps, who has abandoned that push lap. It seems that definitely Duke is also on their way back. So instead, let's catch up with Romeo Mandla Massengo. Now navigating Sector 2. Had a Sector 1 split in the 26 seconds, did Mandla. So looking fairly competitive as far as the Sector 1 splits that we had seen up until this point. Mandla taking turns of 17 through 18. Oh, nailed the left-hander. That was 19, and this is the final corner, turn number 20. Mandla on a push lap for Team Alpha Tauri. What'll it be? P7 is the answer, 35.879. Even Ban Kobe had already crossed the line for their representative lap. He's now just cutting corners, perhaps looking to slap on a set of fresh, soft tires. But as it stands, it is Seakley from Duke, from Donathan Laka. Those are your top three spots. Debo Crocodile currently fourth from Ban Kobe, and Tiago Maestro is in sixth, all the way back in the pits. Simpiwe Zondi is still on a set of hard tires, perhaps getting a feel of the track, perhaps did not get adequate rehearsal time. So instead, we'll hop on over to Tsepo Temba, who is now sending the car screaming down towards turn 12. But it does not look like a representative lap speed-wise, because that Sector 2 is very, very slow indeed. So we're going to have to catch up with some of the other prospects. Is Debo Crocodile still on a proper push? The answer to that is no. He is also slowed down and goes off the racing line. So we're going to have to catch up with the next few contenders. It looks like Don Rabico, Zotal, and Django have left the pits at a similar time, and Tsepo Temba, having just invalidated, is back in the pit lane. So what can Django do? What can Zotal do? What can the current champion, Don Rabico, do or say in answer to the time set by Seakley? 32.443 is the benchmark. On board now with Smurf Django on the first sector. Now attacking the S section as Mandla has been disqualified from this session for driving the wrong way. So Mandla, whose best time had put him in I believe it was P6, is now out of contention, disqualified, and we'll have to start this race all the way from the back. It's Django now attacking towards turn number 11, and we'll send it screaming down toward turn 12. We'll see what sort of Sector 2 splits Django can muster up at this particular point in time. The end of Sector 2 coming, of course, after he attacks this left-hander of turn number 12. We've seen two splits in the 104s. This is a 102.292. So as far as the onboard times that we've been watching, Django, definitely one of the quicker Sector 2 splits we have seen today. Of course, behind Django is Don Rabico. And then, not too further behind, is Zotao, whose efforts we were yet to see here in earnest. And I'll tell you what, Django is looking good as he now attacks the 20th and final corner. How soon can he get that car straightened up? The answer is very quickly. The answer is the quickest time of the day, a 32.352. Here comes Don Rabico. Is it still a valid lap? Yes, it is. Similar Sector 2 split to the likes that Django set earlier on. Don Rabico only sets the third quickest time, 32.484. He did say that this is not one of his favorite tracks. Here comes Zotao. Oh no, he's back into the pits. So perhaps a crucial mistake costing the Red Bull driver dearly. But Django is the standard. Django is the flag bearer of the fastest possible time. Thus far, 32.352 is provisional pole position. Cicle currently on an out lap, and Don Rabico perhaps going to give it another almighty push. Cepiso has joined this lobby. We do hope to see Tiago Maestro back in this lobby in due time before all is said and done. Django, Cicle, Don Rabico, your top three. Duke is currently on another push lap. Let's see what Duke can do. The pride and joy of Abuja, Nigeria, really toying with the track limits there on the exit of that particular corner. He was also close to the limits, but he kept it valid, and Duke is very, very comfortable to toy with the absolute limits of the track as he looks to find what the very benchmark, or what the very best that this car can produce under his control. Now, after this turn 12, we should get the end of the second sector. If it is within the 102s or thereabouts, oh, it will be quite close. He had a slight twitch. He's down about almost 0.2 of a second, but still, that Sector 2 split is nothing to be scoffed at in the 102, 1 minute and 2 seconds mark. So Duke having a slight twitch there on the exit of 12. I do wonder overall how much time that will cost him as far as the lap that he could have done. But it is still valid, it is still solid, it is still a push towards the final corner. Or is it? No! Definitely Duke opts to abandon that lap, having lost out on too much time. This, however, is Tefo Temba, whose initial push lap did not go as planned. Slow, invalidated lap. Tefo Temba, of course, is a driver still adjusting, still adapting to the new Tier 1 regulations, which have removed the assist of ABS braking. So these cars are much more prone to locking up their tires as they come to those heavy braking zones. Tefo Temba still in an adjustment period as far as getting used to that. As you can see, he's just wide of the apex there as he now attacks this third and final sector. Zotao, 86er, Cepiso, the other three drivers currently on an out lap with 6 minutes of this session to go. What can Tefo Temba do or say in answer to the rest of the grid? It is only the final corner being taken now. It's not the most competitive. 135.315 is P7 slap bang in the middle of this 14 driver field. Mandla will be kicking himself, thinking about what could have been at this particular point in time. That unfortunate DSQ costing Mandla dearly and banishing him all the way to the back of the pack, considering the likes of Cepiso have rejoined this joined this lobby. Cepiso, Williams driver, after 2 races, has 2 points. Sadly missed the season opener in Britain out at Silverstone, but was on hand in Qatar to stake their claim on a starting berth, and he is now here to stake his claim on a decent result. Just want to see quickly how Debo Crocodile will do, aiming to improve. Crosses the line, does Debo Crocodile for a 34.592. We're going to hop back on with Cepiso at this particular point in time. The 86er Gallo Letang has also begun their push lap with just about 4.5 minutes of this session to go. And we'll get a decent sense of how they are all faring. Cepiso on the attack. Oh no, the 86er Galilitsang is out. Huge collision with Debo Crocodile. That is what has happened off camera, and Debo Crocodile gets a grid penalty for that huge moment. Meanwhile, Galilitsang, the 86er, was pushing for a representative time, which he did not manage to get. The 86er is the second driver to retire from this qualifying session. Good news for the likes of Tapiso, Zotal, and the Nucho. A late entrant to this year lobby with a couple of minutes still to go. We do wonder if the Nucho will have enough time to get out on track and finalize all the setup tweaks that he would want to make. But huge drama here. The 86er, Romeo Mandla Massingo, both out of this session. Which is currently being led by Smirch Django in provisional pole position. Seakley P2, Don Rapico currently P3. Oh no, Tapiso has invalidated that lap. It will not count. He will have to go for it all over again. And Debo Crocodile, how much damage did this car take in that huge collision off camera with Galilitsang, the 86er? Looks like car is still intact. I do wonder if he will have enough time. It is looking highly unlikely. Debo Crocodile was a P7, is going to get nudged down a couple of positions courtesy of that huge collision with the 86er. Well, it is Django from Seaclay from Don Rabico, your top three. Simpiwe Zondi finally fit on a set of soft tires, and that was good enough also to set a time in the 1 minute 32 seconds. So 4 drivers within that particular benchmark. Duke is currently 5th, and then Donathan Laka 6th. Debo Crocodile will be penalized and will lose that 7th place. Seppo Temba, despite his struggles, is P8. Ban Kobe, P9. Tiago, 10th. Tapiso, 11th. 86er is sadly out. Zotao has yet to set a representative time, as has the Nucho. Don Rabico under pressure to have a race free of any drama or free of any incidents. Behind Don Rabico is the Alfa Romeo of Duke, and behind that car is none other than Seaclay, who is, of course, behind one of these McLarens, and there's a Ferrari as well in the background. It is now or never for all of these drivers, making sure they are here in time, trying to get some temperature into those tires. Seaclay has been imperious, he has been peerless. Pole position in the opening race in Britain, pole position in the second race in Qatar. They have had no answer for the superstar McLaren driver this season thus far, but it seems the margins are oh so fine between the 3-time champion Seaclay and the former champion Smirch Django. Look at that, 32.352 versus 32.443. Fine margins. It seems that Duke, out of all these drivers, will be the first to send it on a push lap here at the Circuit of the Americas. Behind Duke, crossing the line now, will be Don Rabico, and then Django has also begun their final lap. But right now, with gritted teeth in the cockpit of the Alfa Romeo, it is Duke on the brink, potentially, of something special. But he needs every ounce of performance he can muster. The end of Sector 1 brings an improvement of half a tenth, so Duke knows what he needs to do. He knows that he needs to get it right on the exit of turn 12, which is the corner which cost him dearly in his last push lap. Here he comes now into 11 and points that car straight down the hill towards the braking zone of turn number 12. And after that second sector, we'll get a sense of just how well Duke is doing here. Meanwhile, Zotal is out of this session. Tapiso is out as well. No time for Zotal. And what about now? It seems that Duke got a much better exit there. He's improved by about a tenth and a half of a second, but that will not be enough, seemingly, to challenge the likes of Don Rabico, Seaclay, and Smirch Django, considering the kind of times that they needed and they had set earlier on. So Duke is looking to apply all of the pressure. Oh no, but he's invalidated. Duke, under pressure, folds, crumbles, and invalidates that lap. What about Simpiwe Zandi? 32.568 is the driver that's going to cross the line behind some of the front runners. Don Radical has found improvement, but it's marginal. It's very, very, very marginal for Don Radical. Now into the final corner, but will the final sector be enough? Yes, it will. No, it won't, because Smirch Jangle crosses the line right behind Don Radical to take pole position. But what about Seakley? It's a messed up final corner, and he crosses the line for P3, does the McLaren driver. Sensational end to quali. Smirch Jangle at the death on the coattails of Don Radical, snatching pole position from the clutches of the Mercedes driver, and it's a 32.234, which is the benchmark by the Ferrari driver. Django in pole position for the race coming up. This fellow saying, here we go, let's see the best times, and I tell you what, we did exactly that. Look at the margins. At the tail end of it, at the death, Simpiwe Zandi pipped Seakley, will start alongside the McLaren driver, but ahead of Seakley. It's just 6/100ths of a second separating pole position and P2 Don Radical. That is your front row. Simpiwe Zandi is in P3 from Seakley. Just a tenth off the pace was the Aston Martin driver. Seakley 2/10 off the pace. And then from there, it is daylight. A full second off the pace is Duke, still P5, alongside Donovan Laka. Debo Crocodile 7th. Seppo Temba 8th. The Nucho 9th. Ban Colby will start P10. Tiago in 11th. Tepiso 12th. We then have the 86er and Zotal Mandla rounding off the rest of this here field. Capoza once again quoting Zola from an old song. If you know, you know. Just encouraging Tepiso to keep his head up. Definitely not making it in this race, said Tepiso. Wandal Chezi saying, you apologizing already? Tough times for the dominant drivers of the past. So says Mandre. Mindlos, what is going on? Asks Mandre. And it seems that luckily for these drivers, we have clear blue skies out here at the Circuit of the Americas. So on top of the, the diminished assists that they have to contend with, it seems that they have clear skies, which will be very, very welcome as far as they're concerned. Manray says from P6 to P10 is a tier within a tier. And then from P11, well, it is tier 4 as far as Man Ray is concerned. Man Ray not particularly impressed with some of the showings that we've seen out here today. Lot of drivers, a lot of big names in tier 1 failing to set representative times. Sadly, Mandla getting disqualified for his car facing the wrong way throughout this qualifying session. We saw some last minute invalidations just before the final corner. That was the case of Duke, sadly. But then, of course, drama between the likes of Don Rabico, Smirch Jango, and Simpiwe Zandi occupying the top 3 positions for this race. Carlos says Max Caboza and Azuri should be here, judging by the performances that we've seen from those 3 drivers in Tier 2. Saying that we would be delighted to see them. It is 4 lights, it is 5 lights. The only time South Africans look forward to the lights going out, and we are racing in at the Circuit of the Americas. It is almost 4 wide as Django holds their own into turn number 1. Don Rabico and Simps have not lost their positions. Duke has managed to rejoin the lobby. Seakley has hung on to that P4 spot. Donathan Laka is in P5, taking advantage of Duke's connection issues. Hopefully Duke can be back and racing well and soon enough, as all these drivers tackle the S section. They seem to be making sure that they keep it together as best as they possibly can. Nucho has gained a place courtesy of the Ghost of definitely Duke. On board we go with the Nucho as they send it screaming down towards turn number 11, and there was a little bit of tussling between the likes of Seakley and Simpiwe Zandi. As you can see, the 3-time champion looking to waste no time and looking to overtake the Aston Martin as soon as possible, possibly here into turn number 12, and Seakley's gonna tuck out of the slipstream and the outside line, but Simpson's going to make the car as wide as possible. Seaclay now hoping for the switcheroo on the exit of 12, but Simpiwe Zondi is wily to that potential strategy and tries him out. The McLaren driver cannot, will not, shall not pass, says the Aston Martin driver Seaclay, pushing that Aston Martin along as the exit that left-hander, and they now tackle turns 16 through 18. Seaclay is also close to the back of Simpiwe Zondi, leaving nothing to chance, leaving no breathing room whatsoever, and Simpiwe knows all he has to do at this particular point. The biggest mover, Duke, dropping down 4 places, and all of those drivers taking advantage of Duke's disconnect. Here comes Seaclay on the inside of the Aston Martin. Will he get it done? The answer is yes, and the McLaren of Seaclay is now up to P3, but Simpiwe Zondi on those hard tires may yet give the McLaren driver a headache or two before all is said and done. Clean overtake down by Seaclay into that first corner, and as they go snaking through sector 1, it is Django with an 8/10 advantage to Don Rabico, who is of course not necessarily enjoying himself on this particular track, but we'll see whether or not he can manage to find a semblance of momentum between now and the end of this race. Let's take a look at the tire situation here, folks. As you can see, each of the top 3 opting for a set of medium tires, which is the flavor of the day here. Only Simpiwe Zondi is the only driver down in P4 who has hard tires. Aggressive tire strategies by the likes of Duke and Debo Crocodile, starting on those softs, and everybody all the way down to the ghost of Tiago Maestro is on those mediums. Debo Crocodile has just overtaken the 86ers, so down at Team Alpine, it's possible team orders there. Oh, are they playing along? They've swapped positions once again. The 86er says, no, I won't necessarily make it that easy for you. Not now, not so soon. Look at Zotal, however. Looking to take advantage here as they now look to attack Sector 3. Zotal was looking at those Alpines dilly-dallying, swapping positions, and saw a possible opportunity to go on the attack. But right now, we'll have to, contend with P12, and we'll look to fight another time, live to fight another day, possibly, as Escalo rightfully notes, that Smirch Django was absolutely flying with that lead of the race, about 0.6 of a second ahead of the likes of Don Rabico. Look at the Alpines fighting each other, pushing each other. Debo Crocodile really nudging the 86er, telling him to get a move on here through the S section, and try and get into the clutches of Duke, who himself is attacking none other than Ban Kobe. So, within the blink of an eye, we've got a possible 5-car fight as they come screaming down towards the hill and rushing towards turn number 11. Looks like Duke almost attacked Ban Kobe, but thought to bide his time before they get towards turn number 12. Now, this is where we're going to see a couple of moves. Do they go almost 3 wide? It is Duke versus Ban Kobe versus Debo Crocodile over here, rather the 86er. And they go almost 3 wide. Oh, it's the Alpine into the middle. Oh, huge contact! Duke hits the back of Ban Kobe, sends him spinning off the track, and Duke himself may have damaged his wing. It's yellow flags at the end of Sector 2, and Ban Kobe was hurtled into Duke, perhaps misjudging that braking point completely, and Ban Kobe, who was in a decent position for a decent point haul here today, now has to fight all the way down from P14. Drama in lap 3 here at the Circuit of the Americas. Well. Unexpected tussles and battles as now Danuccio is going on the attack versus Tempo Tempo. On the inside goes the Ferrari versus the Aston Martin, who has no answer there to the DRS advantage, of course, that Danuccio enjoyed at that particular portion of the track. So that is now up to P6 for the Danuccio, who joined this session in this lobby later than they would have wanted. But I tell you what, looking in good nick, in decent shape, in good position. And now it is Seppo Tempo's turn to fight back and see what they can do versus the feisty Ferrari. 4-way fight between 86er Zotal, Debo Crocodile, and Zabiso, who has joined the party. Look at Mandla. Now here in P12, taking advantage of that moment of contact between Duke and Ban Kobe, which has sent both those cars tumbling down the order. It looks like Mandla is in here with a very, very decent shout, possibly, if he can keep something decent going here together. Simpiwe will get 12 seconds worth of points here. So reckons Man Ray, who has seen Simpiwe Zandi rack up a whole host of penalties in previous races. A slight lock-up there by the medium tires that Mandela is running, but it seems that he's still within touching distance here of Tepiso. He's trying to make that Williams as wide as he possibly can. Oh, Tepiso on the exit gets it completely wrong, and Tepiso loses 2 positions. Oh, Duke makes contact with Tepiso, who was looking to come back onto track, but now he is completely out of the reckoning, down to P15. Oh, Tepiso will be absolutely fuming at that moment of contact. Duke, who was thinking that, I'm going to get this move done, made contact with the returning Tepiso, who was trying to get his bearings back together. Drama in the midfield, drama all over this track, and I'll tell you what, Simpiwe Zandi finally overcame Sikle, while Django is still hanging on to the lead of this race. The 5th lap of a total 28. It has been peerless stuff by Smirt Django, who has gone unchallenged since the starting, guns, the proverbial starting guns went off. Now almost trying to break that DRS that Don Rabico has. The gap is about 0.8 of a second. So Lancelot and Wandal Shezi responding in the comment section to some of the drama as Sikle goes on the attack versus Simpiwe Zandi, whose hard tires saw him overtake the McLaren. But right now, Sikle is in control, or is he? Both these drivers having a slight twitch now on the exit of turn number 12 as Mfundo notes that, definitely Duke is public enemy number 1 today as far as making contact with other cars is concerned. 5 laps gone, 2 huge moments of contact involving definitely Duke, one with Pan Kobe and the other with Tepiso, who was trying to get back into the track, having made a mistake there. Composer says Duke is giving us a throwback to his Tier 3 days. Duke, of course, is a driver who has fought their way all the way through the BrakeAway Racing League ladder, as Simpiwe Zandi had a slight twitch of the steering wheel on the exit of the final corner. That would have given Donathan Laka in P5 all the hope in the world that he could possibly catch up to the hard-running Simpiwe Zandi. Simps F1. Donathan Laka, good day for them at the office. Such a consistent collector of points is Donathan Laka. The musician, of course, in the colors of Williams. Daylight between them and the Nucho. As you can see, the Nucho is about 7 seconds behind this almost 3-car DRS train, if Donathan Laka can catch up. 1.4 seconds is that gap. But as far as the gap to the leader is concerned, he's about 6 seconds off the marker of Smirt Django. Tepiso sadly retiring in the pits. Tepiso retiring in anger, will take no further part in this race. So we do commiserate with them, having seen that dramatic moment between themselves and definitely Duke, which compromised that Tepiso might have taken too much damage. And considering we've not seen any safety cars thus far, perhaps Tepiso just thinking, no, it's not going to be worth it. And Tepiso is now out of this race. So it is a DNF for the Williams driver, currently on 2 championship points. And it is going to be very, very tricky, of course, for Tepiso, considering that he had missed that first race. But a lot of racing, a lot of competing still to go. So it is not yet done and dusted. We saw Tepiso show his quality in the playoffs and maintain their Tier 1 seat. So we can expect Tepiso to put on a hell of a fight before all is said and done. Don Rabico, the current champion, chasing the former champion, Smirt Django. The gap between them is about 0.6 of a second. Seaflake finding his time about 4.2 seconds behind the leader of this race. And as you can see, despite being P3, Seaflake is the quickest driver on track, with that 1 minute 36.474 being the current benchmark as far as those fastest laps are concerned. Seaflake is really looking off the pace, off color today, says Sir Lancelot in the comment section. Yep, but as you say that, he's slowly making sure that he tries to close the gap. And, well, what a job being done by Simpiwe Zandi today. whose hard tires will be in a more advantageous position the longer this fight goes on. Meanwhile, Teppo Temba and Zotal interchanging positions. Oh, Teppo Temba retaking P7 after Zotal had done so. Oh, just recently, but he's struggling under braking is Teppo Temba. Zotal also almost makes contact with the Aston Martin. As you can see, under braking, he's wide of the apex is Teppo Temba. Zotal can smell blood like a shark does through the water. He knows that he has a possible overtaking opportunity, especially down the main straight. Teppo Temba, that rear struggling as he exits the penultimate corner, and now here we could possibly expect Zotal to attack, but it's a beautiful exit that Teppo Temba has got, piling the pressure on the Red Bull behind to drain as much of his battery as he possibly can if he is to make this attack work. But as I say that, it does not look like it is going to be possible. Back on board with definitely Duke, meanwhile, down in P11. It's Duke versus Thibaut Crocodile versus the 86er. A double team of Alpines trying to keep the Alfa Romeo at bay. But can they do it? Oh, the 86er racks up a time penalty, trying to make sure that he does not get overtaken by his teammates and then subsequently by Duke. Here they come now into the braking zone. It seems that the Alfa Romeo is very, very comfortable piling the pressure. Behind Duke, of course, is the specter of Mandla, who is inching closer and closer as these three battle. Duke, watch your braking points once again. Don't want to see you hurtling into the back of anybody else as Tepiso officially leaves this year lobby. It is Duke versus the 86er versus Debo Crocodile, distant cousin of Debo Alligator. The chasing Debo and Duke have DRS as Debo goes on the outside, says, I'm sorry 86er, now he's your problem, as Duke is going to go on the attack, and Mandla better take advantage of this. Oh, Duke almost makes contact with the back of Debo Crocodile, but he made sure to steer clear and steer wide in this particular instance. Here they come now into the left-hander, and it looks like Duke has a golden opportunity here to overtake Debo Crocodile and consign the Alpine driver to that P11 spot. Now remember, Debo and Duke on those soft tires. An aggressive tire strategy as far as they were concerned are going to have to pit much earlier. The 86 are playing the team game, dragging their teammate along as best as they possibly can. Perhaps they're in close communication, keeping each other updated about the situation as far as the remaining battery power is concerned, and of course making sure that they do not let Duke pass. But Duke being Duke will not go down without a fight. It's Thursday action night. Another 3-second time penalty for the 86er, who is not having fun as far as track limits are concerned over here. We've seen a string of time penalties being dished out towards the Alpine driver. 9 laps of a total 28 gone. Here we go into turn number 11. Duke thought about it, but opts to bide his time, knowing he will get the benefits of DRS down the back straight. He's oh so close. He can smell the fumes off the back of that Alpine, and side by side goes Duke, and it now overtakes Debo Crocodile up to P10. Up next is the 86er, who is now under... Oh no! Oh, Duke! It's a similar thing that he did to Ban Kobe at that particular point, and Duke is enemy number one, public enemy number one, missing his braking points completely and compromising the 86er that time. Well, how many penalties is Duke going to rack up? How many times will he be summoned to the steward's office? I'll tell you what, it is Duke at the center of all things dramatic. Well, I'll tell you what, they won't be amused with those antics, will those drivers. Duke now on those aging soft tires, completely misjudged that braking point once again. Time penalties for corner cutting. Will he get a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane? No. Now, finally, get rid of those soft tires. And yeah, Company responding to everything that Duke has been involved in. It's a set of hard tires, presumably all the way until the end, as the ghost of Tiago comes hurtling past. And where is Ban Kobe? Only now coming past the main straight and will overtake Duke, he will hope. Duke is playing bumper cars, says Sir Lancelot. Ban Kobe on those brand new softs was not quite close enough to overtake definitely Duke at that particular point. Don Radical and Django still the leading pair. It seems C-Clay has marginally bridged that gap. We'll go on board with the champion. Same set of tires as Jangle. And as you can see, at about 35% of battery power remaining. So despite having the benefit of DRS for pretty much since the start of this race, he still found it necessary to use his battery power. And as you can see, Sector 3 looking very... Whoa! What in the world is going on? We have just been kicked out the lobby. Alright folks, I just want to make sure that we have not lost you here completely. Alright, the stream is still live. We do apologize for that. We're going to try and get back into this here lobby. Well, that was some dramatic stuff indeed. Alright folks, we're going to try and get back in this session as soon as possible. Duke is in the comment section asking if the lobby is glitched, and I can only assume, judging by what we're seeing here, that everybody got kicked out. Yeah, it seems like, at least from my perspective, having rejoined, that the only person that is not ghosted is Zoltan, who will probably be so happy. Yeah, the 86er also asking if it's a glitch. It seems that is the case. We were kicked out as well. And it seems everybody, Duke has also been affected. He's asking what the heck is going on. It definitely seems to be a glitch, folks. So many people having been kicked out with about 12 laps elapsed. Well, Lolo says M. Window in the comment section. I just want to make sure I adjust the volume, Sir Lancelot. Alright folks, we're going to make sure we keep you updated with the proceedings from here on out. Trying to make sure that we get